the Almost Perfect Podcast.
Welcome to the Almost Perfect Podcast, a celebration of fuck-ups, failures, and falling flat on your face. This is a podcast that believes you can learn from experience, but that experience doesn't have to be your own. Hi, I'm Bob Perfect, and I'm a functional fuck-up. Let's learn from somebody else's mistakes. And today we're going to be learning from Miss Jamie DeBruine. Miss Jamie DeBruine is a DYR sports presenter, actually. She is on the Sports Unlocked show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and she handles the sports bulletins in the morning show on the drive. No, not the drive. I'm on the drive. She's on the breakfast show from 6 until 9 in the morning, doing the sports updates there. And she's also a model. She's a pageant model, photographic model, and ramp model. And she actually is quite a good model, it seems, since she was Miss SA Teen in 2016, and she's the current Miss Africa South, and she holds a few other titles to her name. So yeah, she's kind of a real model, you know, not like your friends who have Instagram pages with a couple thousand followers and, you know, never get paid, but have, you know, these things like model and all of that under it. No, Jamie's an actual model, and one who represents South Africa. She actually is an ambassador for this country on a fairly regular basis now, and she's only 21 years old. So I figured she'd be someone cool to chat to. Doesn't really fit the bill of, like, you know, a fuck up or a failure that this thing says, but you'll kind of notice neither have any of the other people. Almost everyone's kind of doing something successful. So I might be lying to you with the intro a little bit there. But yeah, Jamie is, I think she's an interesting person in that, like, it's such a different thing to anything I've ever done, to anything I think any of you guys have ever done. And I really wanted to know what it's like to be in that world and what got her into that world, because, like, I didn't even know Jamie was a model until, like, a month or two ago. We've been working together for over a year, and, you know, she's one of the best sports presenters on DYR. She's a hard worker, she knows her stuff, and yeah, like, I just always thought that that's what she did. And then about a month or two, I saw her. I was at the KZN Fashion Council. I was at a dinner for them, and there's Jamie walking the ramp, and I'm like, oh snap, you're a model. That makes sense since you're, like, almost as tall as me. And, you know, obviously that's one of the things to being a model. But yeah, so I then found out, no, she's been doing this for a while, since she was about 16 years old, after her sports career actually got sidelined. I'm not going to spoil how that all happened and why that all happened in the preamble. You will find out in the podcast. But let's just say, yeah, it hasn't all been easy going for Jamie. While things look pretty good for her life at the moment, and, you know, she's doing some big things, she has had some hardships, and we discuss some of that. We don't discuss all of that, but I have a feeling that with some of the stuff that she drops in this podcast, she does give us a few exclusives about her plans for the future and that. And because of that, you'll see that I think we're all going to get to know her quite a bit better as time goes on. This is just the beginning, I guess, of the country getting to know Miss Jamie DeBruine. So I'm pretty stoked. I'm stoked we got this podcast at this time in her career, just before she blows up, just before she does some of the things that she mentions in the podcast. I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to give away too much stuff. Like, she announces some pretty big projects and some pretty cool things. So I'm going to leave you guys to that. You can hear exactly what she has to say in just a little bit. Other than that, I'm going to let you know all the other things. You can like us on Facebook. Yes, that's the Almost Perfect Podcast on Facebook. I'm on Instagram at Almost Perfect Bob. And if you want to support the podcast financially at all, you can go to patreon.com/almostperfect. That's just a way that you can chip in if you want to, $1 or $5 a month, and help me get this podcast off the ground a bit more. My main goal at the moment is to try and make enough money a month to hire a sound editor, well, a podcast editor, just whatever that is called, a sound engineer, someone within those words there, a person who could edit this thing and make it sound kiff. Okay, you got me. Because I'm sure you also want this to sound a little bit better than it does. As much as, you know, I do put in an effort to try and make sure it sounds as good as I possibly can get it. I'm not a sound guy. I don't know enough. I don't know if you know this, I'm actually deaf in my one ear. So being able to edit stuff, to be able to edit sound isn't necessarily my main thing. And I would like to change that. So, you know, go throw in $1. You've got $1. You know you've got $1. So go chuck it into the Patreon there. And yeah, you can help make this podcast a little bit better. And then in a year or two, and you're looking back, you'll be like, yo, the podcast sounds so much better than it used to. and it'll all be because of you. It'll be because of the $1 a month that you decide to give me. If you decide to. If you don't, that's cool. I'm happy to put this out there for free because I'm getting a lot of value out of it. I'm learning so much each time I chat to people, and I feel like my interview skills are getting a little bit better, although they are still, even with this one, like I've taken some notes and I'm like, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. But I'm probably going to do it again until eventually I don't. That was quite a bit of a preamble, but I guess that's why it's called a pre-ramble. Hey, without further ado, here comes the podcast with Jamie Bruine. Enjoy. Just joking now.
My nickname is Dingondo.
What does that mean?
De Bruine in isiZulu.
Oh, okay.
It was my nickname.
It was your nickname?
Yes.
It's also just kind of your name, as you were saying.
Yes.
Damn, I don't know if you're loud or you just got a loud laugh.
I think I have a loud laugh.
That's probably the thing. So you are a sports presenter on DYR and a model.
Yes.
And I've saw your Instagram. So we've been working together for like a year or so.
Yes.
And then I saw on your Instagram that you were Miss South Africa Teen.
I was Miss South Africa Teen 2016, the current Miss Africa South.
What? Okay, so I also saw that. What is Miss Africa South?
Okay, so there's Miss Africa as a whole, as the pageant, with the different countries from Africa representing those countries. And I won South Africa for Miss Africa. So hence Miss Africa South, as well as Miss Africa Tourism World.
Okay,
Yes.
so I'm going to assume you think you're good looking.
If that's what you assume.
Well, what's the truth then?
I wouldn't know.
How does that? What do you mean you wouldn't know? You've won all these. You've won all these modeling
Listen,
competitions.
I just think that it all comes down to beauty with the purpose and beauty with brain. So if my beauty doesn't match it, then I'm pretty sure my brain speaks for itself, man.
Oh, okay. So what does beauty with a purpose mean?
Beauty with purpose is in the saying, beauty with a purpose. I mean, you cannot just be beautiful and have something to offer to the world with your beauty. There has to come something with it. And I'm a very charitable person, so I love giving back.
So you share your beauty with people. Is that how you're charitable?
If that's what you want to call it. But I'm a very charitable person, and I like giving back to the community. So I would think, in my opinion, that is what beauty with a purpose means.
Okay, that's cool.
Especially in the pageantry industry. I mean, you have to...
Okay, how did you get into the pageantry industry though? Because this is something that I don't think very few people have an experience with this.
Yeah, for the longest time, I did not ever think that I would ever become a model. I've been a tomboy majority of my life, and in grade 10, my best friend actually introduced me to this modeling agency, and like 2 or 3 years prior to that, I was always pressured to like, look at your height, you are the perfect build for model, why don't you get into the modeling industry?
For those listening, Jamie, basically my height. Like
1.75 to be precise.
Yes.
And I always thought about it, and I was just like, no, it's just not for me, because I'm a very sporty person. I was a hockey player before I was involved in a motor vehicle accident. And
I would assume basketball would probably be more your speed.
It was hockey, actually. I was a center forward. And yeah, so the first day I walked into the agency, Extreme Model Management, her name is Adele Bortes. And from the moment, as soon as I walked into the room, her words were just, wow, you tall. And I'm a really shy person, mind you me. And
still, like, I don't see you as being a shy person.
I am a really shy person. A lot of people that really know me know that I am really shy. So it was literally from day one, I was a model. But obviously, a lot of people think that, being a model and being in the modeling industry is all glitz and glam.
It's all sweat and
not really the case.
And,
You really have to have the thick skin to get through it all. And it takes an experienced model to know that for the first 2 years of being a professional model, and I say that in inverted commas, it was probably the most toughest thing for me, because you get turned down so many times.
Yeah, you just get rejected constantly because you go to casting calls all the time, right?
It's almost like a business interview every time you go for a casting. And some people would say that modeling should boost your self-confidence. It would take a really long time for it to get to that point, because you walk into a casting, they look at you, they measure your hips, literally, they measure your height, literally, they look at your skin. It's an industry where a lot of flawed people cannot have those kind of flaws.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, it's also, but I mean, it's weird though, because modeling also, like, it's not people who aren't necessarily good looking still can do well
Yeah.
in modeling.
And
Like if they've
yeah.
got a good figure and stuff, but
Mm.
like they can have unique facial features and stuff
Yeah.
like that. That can also be.
Yeah.
But as you're saying, there are certain things like your
Yeah.
figure has to be.
Yeah, and the modeling industry is definitely changing, and I can see it getting to a point where every female, every male, whatever shape, size, color, if you have two different colored eyes, you would be suited to be a model. Because we've literally now gotten to the point in the modeling industry, where you have models who are plus size models,
Yeah.
who are size 38 and size 42s, who are able to actually walk down a ramp in Fashion Week, in SA Fashion Week. I'm considered a plus size model. I'm a size.
That's ridiculous.
I'm a size 32. I mean, if you take a look at your Joburg Fashion Week and your Cape Town Fashion Week, those girls are tiny.
But I mean, the thing is, though, how can someone be your height and be smaller than you? That would not be possible.
I promise you, Bob, there are girls out there who are tinier than me and taller than me.
That's probably not healthy, but at the same time, everyone's got their their body weight, their
And
body sizes.
Definitely, and some of them are natural, so we cannot blame it to the fact that some of them look.
But it does just suck that
Yeah.
yeah, exactly, and it does just suck that there is a preference, or there has been a preference in
Yeah.
the modeling industry for so long, in the fashion industry for
Yeah.
so long, for like rake thin,
Yeah.
models, and it's been such a problem for people. Have you I
Yeah.
mean, you say you're considered a plus size model, but do you ever feel that need to conform to like sizes and stuff? Like, has that been something that's weighed on you? Because like you say, you didn't get into modeling because it was something you always wanted to do,
This is-
and now it's
yeah.
something you're doing. And so, what are the pressures of it?
I promise you, there is a lot of pressure in the industry, and it's funny that you actually asked this question, because I was actually talking in studio to the guys. I think when I first started off in the modeling industry, I just wanted to have the perfect skin. I wanted to be the perfect body size, so I cut down on my eating, I exercised a lot, and it's so much pressure and so much time invested into trying to be perfect and trying to be perfect so that society can accept you. But I promise you, for the last 2 months, and I know it does not look like it right now, I've been trying to gain weight. I had afros for breakfast. I'm about to go get myself some KFC. So it's different opinions and different views for people in society, and I think a lot of models don't deal well with the pressure of society.
Yeah, I mean, it's long term going to have psychological effects.
Yeah.
And also, do you worry about the longevity of modeling? Like, that you can only do it for so long? Although, I guess there's some people like that have made it,
Yeah.
their life's work. But even people like, you look like Tyra Banks, she's gone and extended her brand.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely, modeling does open many doors for the people who have been in the industry. It somewhat leads up to acting. If you're I can't say that every model can land into presenting and TV presenting and radio presenting, but you become a versatile person. I mean, I'm a sports journalist at DYR. I model. Sometimes I've been pregnant 3 times this year. I'm not too sure if you've seen on my Instagram handle, with the photo shoots that come along with it.
oh, wow.
And modeling enables versatility,
Yeah,
and
you got to portray
versatility,
different.
versatility leads to many doors being opened. So you don't always have to be a ramp model. You don't always have to be a photographic model. You don't always have to be an advert model. It opens many doors for you.
Which do you prefer doing?
All of it.
Really? You don't have a preference? Like,
I don't have a preference at all.
you just, as long as you're paying.
I
me,
believe I'm a
gonna show up.
versatile individual, so
But
it's
like,
just what I like.
But like, do you, like, so you're like happy to walk down the ramp or just have your photo taken? Like, because there are different dynamics to the two, right?
Yeah, there are completely different dynamics to the two. So if you compare the difference, okay, we'll do this, right?
Yeah.
High fashion modeling and pageant modeling. High fashion, you are the model, you are selling the brand. It's not about you. So the clothes are literally just getting thrown on you. You got to
And
pull
you
a
just
straight
walk.
face, walk down the ramp and sell the clothes. With pageantry modeling, you are selling yourself. So
Yeah.
it all comes with personality. So it's no personality versus personality.
Okay, that's interesting. And
I
then,
think I prefer personality.
And then photographic side
Photographic, it's also the same. Basically
versus
selling the
clothes
brand
versus yourself. Like,
versus clothes versus yourself as well. But I think with photographic and adverts also all tie in with selling a brand.
yeah.
So I think I like being involved in all aspects of modeling.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so, what are some of the craziest things you've seen in modeling?
Oh, I won't forget. I think it was 2014 KZN Fashion Council. It was I think it was at I can't remember which hall, but it was up in Pietermaritzburg. And one of the designers actually had her own shoes. and attached to the shoe, well, attached to the heel of the shoe was, I'm not too sure, you get that roll that cotton is
Wound on, yeah.
thing wrapped up around. We actually had to have that on our heels, and the ramp was really slippery. So number one, the ramp was really hard to walk on, and number two, they had placed our shoes at each of the models' different stations. So it got to a point where we had a girl who was almost a size 5 and a girl who was almost a size 8
What, switching shoes?
with no shoes.
Oh, no shoes.
Yeah, that had to walk out onto the ramp. It's crazy. It also gets to the point for DFF, and a lot of people will know who have probably actually seen us. I think it was back in 2016, where I think it was day 4 of Durban Fashion Fair, and some of the models can become very unprofessional, and some of them can literally, I don't know, down talk me on what I'm about to say, but you get professional models and you get unprofessional models. Ones that care and ones that really don't care. But it literally got to a point in the fashion fair where one of the models actually took off her shoes because her feet were sore from walking on the ramp, kicked off her shoes on the ramp, and continued walking. Yeah. And every model that had to walk down the ramp after that had to walk around the shoe.
She left?
Yeah.
That's...
You can actually Google it. It should be somewhere.
That's pretty punk rock, though. Like, I'm like, does she still get jobs?
Probably, yeah. I don't know who she is.
Okay. Is the industry small?
No.
No.
Durban, the industry in Durban, the modeling industry in Durban is really small, in my personal opinion. Very big in Joburg and Cape Town.
Okay, so
yeah.
So what's competition like then? Like, because I mean, are you competing with people from Joburg and Cape Town, or are you still competing with people in Durban for jobs?
I don't think there's much of a competition when it comes to modeling, unless you are in the pageantry industry. If you are a high professional model who does fashion shows, who does photo shoots and all of these adverts, it really comes down to who the panel wants to pick at the end of the day. So there is not much competition. Competition maybe in terms of keeping yourself looking well groomed, which is very important.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. So I think that's where the competition would only lie.
Cool. So you're saying modeling as like the photographic side and just the getting jobs side isn't that competitive because it's basically just someone else decides that. There's nothing you can really do about it.
It really all just comes down to the person who is in charge of directing of whatever is taking place. So competition is not a big thing. So it's really just the case of keeping yourself well groomed.
But then obviously the pageant side, it's competition. Like, that's literally what the whole thing is.
That's literally what it is. It's competition. It's number one, keeping yourself well groomed. You are at the end of the day representing a brand or representing a title. So for example, Miss Junior South Africa, you have to be well spoken. You are judged on your entire, there's a whole criteria to it.
Like your entire life.
Your
basically.
entire life.
Like you have to be philanthropic. You have to like be like professional. And, like,
yeah,
be
it's
doing
like a
things.
lot of people don't believe me. It's like if you look at the Miss South Africas, not any one of them have a boyfriend. They look at your social media accounts. They check your entire background.
Is that why you deleted your last Instagram?
Yes, that is probably why I deleted my last Instagram, but I have a new one. At Miss Jamie the Brain follow.
Yeah, it's cool. I'll put the link in the bio.
Yeah.
But what's it like? So are these people that you're competing with? Do you like? Are you friends with them, or do you actually like have a little bit of resentment towards them? Like, does it get a little feisty?
Let
like,
me tell you
backstage?
something, Bob. The pageantry industry is ruthless. It is ugly. It is exactly what you see on the movies, like Miss Congeniality, like how ugly it actually gets backstage. When I competed, after winning Miss Teen South Africa 2016, I was given the opportunity to go and represent South Africa at Miss Tourism Queen of the World in Shanghai. And some of these girls are, I'm not what you would call it, the Afrikaners would call it a pageant poppy.
Okay,
right?
No, I know.
I am not a pageant poppy. Pageant poppies are the ones that literally go to sleep with makeup on, with their hair in rollers, just waking up, going to sleep like they're ready to wake up already. And a lot of these girls, like especially from different countries, I mean, you had Venezuela, you had Spain, Brazil, Netherlands, the United States of America. These girls live and breed pageantry. Pageant is their life. And
because obviously they have that from a young age.
Yeah.
Like they're just doing pageants the whole time. And like, do we have that in South Africa? I mean, do you see it at all? Because you've only gotten into this later in your life, so.
There are a lot of, parents that pressure their young children into, this perfect life or pageant life that I have seen, but it's not as vast as other countries. I mean, I'm not sure if you ever heard or watched the program called Toddlers and Tiaras.
I haven't seen it, but I know the vibe. Like,
Listen, you have 5-year-olds who literally throw fits.
yeah, like I've seen like stuff from it on Twitter and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's ridiculous.
Now, Toddlers and Tiaras is almost like the grown-up version of what happens in the pageantry life. Literally. It really gets ugly. It gets to the point where on the final, all the girls are getting dressed at the back. If some girl feels the need that she needs to walk behind another girl and slit her dress open, then she would do exactly that. Or pour some dye on her dress, then
Has
she will
anyone
do that.
tried to sabotage you?
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
So do you make friends? Like, is that what?
I do have friends. I'm actually really close friends with Andrea Abrams. She's currently one of the finalists for Miss Mpumalanga. We had a really good friendship after Miss Teen South Africa, and I still have many of the friends from all the other countries that I competed with in Miss Tourism Queen of the World. Netherlands was actually my roommate, so we still talk. I still talk to Miss USA. There's also, I think, like I said, Miss Venezuela that I also still talk to. So,
while it's ruthless, there's still that opportunity to make friendships.
there's a sisterhood
And I
that comes
guess
along with it.
Only you guys know what that is like, so that's also probably strengthens that bond, because it's like
Definitely.
you can only talk to each other about certain things that happened.
Exactly. And I mean, at the end of the day, we all are competing for one title, but it does become a really good thing when you can actually share that bond. It helps you get through the competition because it's tough.
Yeah. And how much does winning actually matter to you, like in these competitions? Do you go like, I want to win this, or you like, I'm gonna try and win this, but it doesn't matter if I do?
Yeah. For the past, my last 2 titles that I've had, Miss Africa South and Miss Africa Tourism World, I won't say, not that it really didn't mean that much to me, but it was just to get that great exposure, because I will be entering for Miss South Africa. I can't disclose when, but with Miss Teen South Africa, it really did mean a lot to me, because not a lot of people know that, my background and why I'm so passionate about what I do and why my life means so much to me. So it was literally a thing of stepping into the competition to prove a point to myself. And I promise you, if I could literally talk you through the competition, I could go on forever. But at that moment, it was really a magical moment, I think, for me, because I did not think I was going to win. In my head, all of the girls already knew who was going to win, and that same girl did not end up winning. So when my name was actually called, the video is actually up on YouTube. You guys can go watch it. I was in complete shock.
You didn't have a speech planned?
No, and my agent, because my agent was actually sitting right in front, and when the lady had called my name to say that the new Miss Teen South Africa is literally, she was speechless. She was like, what? And I was just like, oh my gosh, are you guys kidding me? So that, I think, was the biggest highlight of my life.
So we were saying like your background's why
Yeah.
you're so passionate. What is like your background? What do you mean by that? we haven't we just got straight into the business side of things. And
Yes,
didn't even get into the getting to know you.
Oh gosh, I hope this part doesn't make me emotional, because I always get emotional when I talk about it. But in 2009, I was involved in a motor vehicle accident. I fractured my collarbone, my hip bone, and my kneecap shifted. So as we're sitting right now, I have a titanium pin in my left arm. I have a titanium pin in my left hip, and I have a titanium plate just above my kneecap. In the beginning, as I was telling you, I've always been a sporty person.
Yep.
And I played for my school, Greenwood Park Primary, and at that time I just made, I think, the under-11 Umlazi district child.
Okay, cool. You're still young enough that's how the teams are. It's not Durban district. It's,
It was the Umlazi district child that I think I got to the last round before actually doing our final round to get selected to go on to KZN, getting our names down in KZN. And a week before the final round of it, I was involved in the motor vehicle accident, and my best friend was with me at the time, who now represents KZN. And obviously she was lucky to have escaped the accident. So I think for the longest time after my accident, my self-esteem dropped really low.
Because you had based your whole personality on
Yeah.
your ability to play sports.
Yeah, definitely. And it's obviously never going to be the same because it stops you from doing, you're not that physically able to do all these kinds of stuff. And thank God the medical team was so good, because I will show you pictures when I actually have the opportunity to, but my face, my chin was not what it is today, and the left side of my cheek is not what it is today, especially this huge scar that I have on my arm. There's stitches everywhere. I think it was pretty tough because I thought that, it's never ever going to go away. Those scars are going to be there forever.
How old were you when this happened?
I was 11 years old.
Okay. Oh, wow. So you were young.
Yeah, I was really young. But I think the most difficult part for me was learning how to use, because I had to go through 6 months of
Oh, you
rehab.
had to do physical rehab.
Yeah, that was the toughest part. It was going through rehab because I didn't know how to actually use my left arm with the pin that's in right, and learning how to, just kind of deal with the pain that was in the left side of my leg, because it was a major surgery. My hip bone literally, split. And yeah, it was tough. And being, 11 years old, I was in ICU for 5 days, and I literally experienced the worst possible. I've never seen anybody die, and in those 5 days, I witnessed 2 people die in ICU.
Oh, that's a fun thing when you've just gone through surgery as an 11-year-old after being in a car accident.
You have not. But the fun part is, though, I've had experience being high, though.
Oh, okay.
I was drugged 24/7, I think, off morphine because the pain was so bad.
To be honest, I think a lot of people listening to this podcast have experienced being high just by their own choice.
Yeah, but it wasn't my choice. I think that was the really most difficult part of my life. And like I said, my self-esteem was really low. I was in a complete nutshell of my own that I did not want to come out for a really long time.
And then eventually your friends got you into modeling, and even then, it's just rejection and horrific stuff. So how did you get how did you eventually find your confidence?
Look, I've realized after some time, and it actually takes a really long time to actually come to the realization that, I've been given a second opportunity at life. And, for me, passion beats anything. People sometimes ask me, are you not tired? And I'm just like, no, I can run 100 miles more, even though I'm completely out of breath. So
yeah, you're one of the few people at DYR, it's cool, no one's going to listen to this at DYR anyway, so I can say it, that, is constantly working. There's a handful of us that are just there's no time for chilling.
Yeah, definitely. And for me, my biggest thing is that sometimes people don't reach for the stars. Sometimes we are kind of satisfied with what people tell us we should be satisfied with.
Yep.
And that is just something I'm not going for.
You want to just keep reaching.
Yeah, it's being a young woman, I want to, kind of encourage or set the rules or try to change the world and empower women that it is okay for us to, own our own businesses, and it is okay for us to change the ballroom rules.
And that you can be a tomboy and you can also become Miss Africa South.
Exactly, and my thing has always been, my biggest dream has always been is that I don't want big, I don't want to dream big.
Yeah.
I like quality. And, but whatever I do, I always want to ensure that, years from now, it's something that I am really proud of. And I just always keep it at the back of my mind that, I've been given a second chance at life. This year, my parents, my family, my friends could have been celebrating me being dead 10 years.
Yeah, you could literally. So you're 21 now, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
That's just really the depth of it when you actually think about it.
This could be the anniversary of my death.
Yeah.
That's pretty dark, man. But that's pretty good motivation, though.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, I don't know, I've got a similar thing in terms of just wanting to help others and stuff and that. I've been given opportunities that, I just want to pass on to other people.
Yeah, definitely. Most definitely. And it's also a thing of, I don't like to gloat about it and stuff like that, but, Yeah, I've had won major titles, and it humbled me to the fact that, so many young girls look up to me, and it's even people that are older than me that look up to me. And for a long time, people will tell you, how proud they are of you. And, I was just like, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm just like,
weird, like,
yeah, it feels weird. It was like, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's like, oh, thank you so much. But then it gets to a point where it all becomes too much, but I'm just worried about the next thing. What do I do next? What's the next plan?
Yeah, you don't want to just rest on like people congratulating you and go, yes, I'm the best, I can do
Yeah.
they love me, and like
It
then you
does.
just get complacent and you don't want to carry on doing more stuff.
Definitely. You just kind of gotta you kind of have to not let all the lights, the glitz and the glam kind of shadow you as a personality. It all just gotta come down to the real Jamie the Brain that everybody knows or has ever known.
And I mean, what's weird, like what's wild is, I mean, I had no idea about this. I don't think most of Diva R knows.
Yeah, not a lot of people know about it.
And to authenticate your realness, like you were with Diva R back when it was at the Bat Center.
Yeah.
Like when it wasn't glamorous to be at Diva R.
Yeah.
Now it's looking like, people like want to be at Diva R, but before
Yes.
it was like
Uh-huh.
a pretty rundown studio with a computer and a mic like stuck together
Yeah.
with duct tape, and and you started back there. What made you get into radio? How did you get into radio?
Ooh.
And like, so you've obviously got a passion for sports
Yes.
from a young age,
Mhm.
and you had to transfer your competitiveness, I guess, into something
Mhm.
else with modeling, but
Yeah.
you still love sports, and so now this is a way for
Mhm.
you to share that, I guess.
Funny story about how I got into DIY, but I'll pause there for a moment. I have just always been really passionate about sports, and I actually wanted to do my BA in media, but I was offered a bursary to study management sciences in HR, so I had to take it there and then. But I was also offered an internship to intern and shadow under Carol Chabalala and Robert Marawa, who are sports anchors at Supersport, because sports and TV is exactly what I wanted to get into. So, being offered the bursary, my parents were just like, no, that can wait. Parents always get in the way.
Yeah.
They were like, no, that can wait.
Take the safe option.
Yeah, that can wait. It's just 1 year, whereas your degree is like 3 years. Why not just get your degree done and over with it? And I'm not too sure if you know Christian Shaw.
I know the name.
Yeah, he also used to be at DYR. We were buddies back then, and he was like, hey, why don't you try and come out, see what DYR is like. Maybe you could do sports at DYR. And I delayed it for a really long time because I'm shy, like I said. And I was just
Is
like,
that shy or just insecurity? Like,
no, I am not insecure. I
Okay.
just think some part of my personality is shy or scared. Like, trust me, I am.
I'm yet to see it, but
Listen,
we'll see.
I'm the most nervous person before I'm about to go on air. Before I am about to step onto the runway, I freak out. And so I was chatting to Christian. I was also chatting to Spoo and T at DYR, and they kept asking me to come in. And it was a thing of, okay, I will come in. Then I always had an excuse. The next weekend will come. I'm like, okay, I'm coming in. And then I'd have an excuse. So then T was just like, look, there are many people who will want this job that we are actually offering to give to you.
Mr. T.
So he was just like, it's either you come in the next hour or not.
Wow.
So I was just like, oh, damn.
I like that though.
So I went in. I feel like God punished me in that way because what's to follow is what I had caused myself. So I get to the radio station, not what I expected.
Yeah.
You know what you were saying, not what I expected at all. So I was just like, okay, but I thought, okay, cool, we talking radio right now. I could be in radio. So it didn't matter what the radio station looked like.
I think everyone that's started with DYR when it was at that studio
Yeah.
had the same idea that like we get to be on air.
Yeah, we get
Like,
to be on air.
we get to practice. Like
Mhm.
this is a opportunity for
Yeah.
the future. Like, and yeah, I'm sure that's how you like kind of saw it. Even
Yeah.
though like you walk in there and you're like, okay, so this is radio.
I
hey?
thought I honestly thought it was like the chilling area when I got there. So I was introduced to everybody. Jesse, Bobby, and Londeka were actually, I think, doing that time slot. And then Spoo and Tia were there, of course. And I was introduced to them. And then they also asked me, they were like, but you're female. Why do you
Oh.
like sports? So I was just like, I saw this card coming. So I was like, I'm going to put you in your place. And it's like, sports is not only a man's game. It's
No,
also
not
a
at all.
female's game. And it doesn't only take a man to understand a man's game. There are a lot of females who are interested in sports. So the conversation went on, and
I mean, the thing is, it's not like, the guys commenting on sports can do the things either. Like, they like they might criticize girls and be like, you
Yeah.
don't play or whatever. It's like, bro, you're not Cristiano Ronaldo either, but we can both see he can kick a ball well.
Literally. And so the conversation went on, and Spoo was busy on his iPad, which I was really offended by. I'm like, yo, look, you guys called me in. Aren't we supposed to be having some kind of conversation? And out of the blue, he was like, okay, I've got a bulletin for you. You're going to go on at 12:30. I froze for a moment, and I was like, are you guys serious? And then he was just like, no, you are going to go on at 12:30. So I was just like, okay. Then, first time on air, and it went brilliant. And I started at DYR the very next weekend.
Dope. I mean, like, that has kind of been the DYR way, though, is to, like...
Put people on the spot.
Yeah, just throw them by the... Like, either you do it or you don't, you know? Like,
Yeah.
and there's been a few people who have kind of failed, and, like, there's been a few people who don't meet it. But a lot of people, like, have succeeded. A lot of people have gone, hey, I can actually do this. Because that's the thing, like, if you want to be in that position... anyway, you kind of have an idea of how to do it and how you want to do it, and then with a little bit of training it gets pushed in the right direction. But now you guys have the Sports Unlocked show, which is dope, because before so wait, you started there, they were like, cool, you're doing the 12:30 bulletin, so that was
literally just a Saturday and Sunday.
oh, okay, yeah, because on the weekend then, so it's not lunchtime necessarily. And so how long did you do that for?
I did that for almost 10 months, and then when we moved to Florida Road, I was only doing the Friday shows just before the weekend, and then on a Saturday we had an
was that in
evening
the
show.
morning or
Friday evening.
Oh, Friday night. Okay.
Yeah. And then I think just not long after we moved to the radio station, about 2 months after that, I joined the breakfast show with Kevin, and I've been doing it ever since. And now we've implemented a sports show on a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday evenings.
But that's a long day for you though, because then you've got breakfast sports, which is what, getting up at like 5 in the morning, even earlier. No, so
it's been much easier on me now this time, because now the fact that I've only literally done one module this semester, it hasn't been
studying as well.
Yes, and next year's gonna be even more, I think, tormenting, because then I have 5 modules in the first semester. So it's the breakfast show in the mornings, rushing off to university and then rushing back to studio to prepare for the sports show.
But luckily, I mean, at least for the sports show, you do have a team that works with you there. So.
Yeah.
But do you do a lot of the research?
Now, yes. Now that our other sports member has fallen and joined Gagasi FM, Sam Kello, I've now stepped in as a helping hand to produce alongside our in-house producer.
Nkululeko.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what's that like now? Like, are you enjoying getting the opportunity to produce? Like, I mean, because it's a different aspect to obviously being on air. I mean, on air does take preparation and that, but producing takes it's literally all preparation. That's what the job is.
Definitely. And I mean, with every job you always have to prepare well and research well. It's like, I may think that I'm the sports journalist and I may know everything that's happening in the world of sport, but that's not always the case. You always have to be constantly researching and getting as much information as you can, and that's also just kind of helped me as a sports journalist increase my knowledge on what is happening in the world of sports and staying up to date 24/7 with what is going on.
And that's the thing, that is a 24/7 job now, because the world of sport is constantly updating.
Definitely. And it's like, especially with radio and TV, you are a media personality. You can't have a single second of dead air.
Yeah, and you also
that
have
makes
to
you
know
look
everything as well. Like,
definitely.
There's that big pressure of being, I mean, I never really used to read the news until not for a long time, until I started radio, and then it was just like every day now, like I swipe across on my Google thing and I just check all the headlines. Just
and it's much more harder for a female, being in the sports industry, because we look down on them. We're like, okay, well, what does this chick know? So
do people within like radio and like other media houses treat you differently? Like when you go to sports events and stuff, do you get like people like looking at you differently? Or
I think a lot of them are surprised, because there's not many female anchors in Durban that I know of, but there's a lot of sports journalists that actually do articles in newspapers that I for. So I haven't experienced any negativity thus far.
Well, that's cool. I mean, that's at least promising.
Yeah, I hope.
And so what are your long-term goals with this? I mean, like, how are you going to balance you know, the whole, well, is it possible to balance like long-term like modeling with anything else? Is that like one of the cool things about modeling? Because it seems like a lot of models get to do that. They get to, like you were saying earlier, you know, move into acting and that while still being a model. So are you looking to get into TV, like presenting?
Well, definitely my long-term goal is presenting on TV. Especially with super sport. I want to bounce back from that. I mean, you know, losing that opportunity to intern and shadow under, I mean, the biggest sports anchors in South Africa, Carol Shabalala and Robert Marawa. Definitely get back into super sport. Modeling is definitely not part of my long-term stable goals, but obviously there will come opportunities, like, you know, when I am that media mogul that I am kind of training myself.
Okay, so I'm probably going to put like a record scratch there.
Okay.
Because once again, I have rookied out. I didn't sort out the card on this thing. So last time was the batteries. This has happened before.
Yeah.
In another interview where, the batteries fucked out and I had to change them midway through. This time it was the card. And the problem is with the card is you don't really notice it. So we got through a bit more of the interview and it's not recorded.
I'll have my eyes on it.
You have your eyes on it now. So you were saying that you're using modeling to help yourself become a media mogul, basically. Like, it's not your long-term plans.
It definitely is not my long-term plan. I thought maybe being at 16 years old, modeling is something that I wanted to do forever. But, you know, you grow, you get experience, you know, to different opportunities. But like I said, you know, I was offered an internship at Supersport to shadow under Robert Marawa and Carol Shabalala, and TV sports presenting is something that I definitely want to venture into and something that will be part of my long-term and stable plans.
And in the shorter term?
Shorter terms would definitely be, you know, growing my brand as Jamie de Bruine, focusing on radio, maybe possibly moving to bigger radio stations like your Metro, you know, Gagasi.
And in terms of TV, anything else planned that side? Because you told me something like just now that I feel the people need to know about.
So I am currently working on a documentary to, you know, tell the world, tell everybody else who Jamie de Bruine is, because people know Jamie de Bruine, but they don't really know who Jamie de Bruine is.
Yeah, they see the public facade that you put on.
Yeah, they just see that. And so we'll basically be telling my life story, and then from the documentary we'll be shifting onto possibly a reality TV show.
Possibly a reality TV show.
Yes.
How's this all coming about? Who are you talking to, and like what's the whole vibe here? Like,
I can't tell you that.
You can't tell me anything.
I'll just tell you as far as that, but there's definitely a documentary and definitely a reality show to follow after that.
Yeah, that is incredible. I mean,
first time.
Because
you get the exclusive.
First time, this is the breaking story. But what is this? So what is this going to document? Just the documentary is basically taking you from like your early days up until
the documentary will literally be taking me up from my early days, right through, you know, my tragic accident, and everything that played out after that, right up until this very moment, and moments that will occur after this until everything is launched.
And then I was going to say, then I assume the reality show would then possibly be like about your life now. Like how does your family know about this? Are they like okay with it that they're going to be like filmed that have like
they know about it, because obviously with
the
documentary will also, you know, I won't only be interviewed, you know, my family would be interviewed as well, people who are really close to me, my circle, who is really small, the people who really know who Jamie de Bruine is, and
Are you not scared though? Because like that's putting like your real self out there. I mean, I know, you know, obviously like a lot of reality shows are pretty scripted, but you don't really want to go that route.
I really don't want to go that way, you know. Obviously there's a 80% realness to us, and there's that 20% that's really fake and really scripted. I mean,
the Kardashians is probably the other way around.
Yeah, definitely. It's like I was saying to you, Bob, you know, I've always battled with how much I, you know, reveal about myself and how I stay constant in society.
Yeah, because with being a model and especially being a pageant model, it's not the same. So other modeling, like people put their personal lives out there
Yeah.
because it helps sell them more
Yeah.
because it's their brand. But like with pageant modeling, you've got to be this clean cut,
Yeah.
nice person. So you've actually got to like curate what you
Yeah.
put out to the public a
And
lot.
definitely, I think that's where a lot of young people who are in the media industry lose it, completely. The opportunity is given to them, in their open hands, and it's like they literally take it, hold it in front of the beholder, squash it, and throw it in the bin.
But then people want
Because-
different things. Like,
Because, I mean, at the end of the day, you are a brand and you have to protect your brand. I'm not going to say the F word right to you now because I have young girls who are looking up to me that want to be Miss Teen South Africa.
I mean, they're never going to listen to this podcast. but-
Exactly. But should they so many years from now?
See, whereas my brand is swearing. My brand is like,
You
doing
see?
all the. My brand's literally the exact opposite of yours.
Exactly.
Like, yours is being good looking, mine is not. Yours is being clean.
Not
cut,
all
mine
the
is-
time.
Not all the time.
Not all the time.
Sometimes I look good.
I don't go to bed with makeup on.
Well, obviously.
Some people do.
Oh yeah, you were
But
saying
it's
earlier.
literally a thing of, protecting my brand. Like, my
But now you're not going to be able to do that as much. Like if you're doing a
Yeah.
documentary, and if you're doing.
definitely, in the past, like even right now, like, my relationship is not so much out there. My family and friends are not so much out there. And now it's, like, I've come to the realization that I'm literally exposing
You're
myself.
You're putting a spotlight onto yourself.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that is a way. Like, I mean, if you do believe in yourself,
Yeah.
and then people are going to get to see.
And I have nothing to hide. So,
There you go. But the
Yeah.
cool thing is then, like, if you do believe in yourself, you get to show people,
Yeah.
and hopefully people resonate with it.
Yeah.
And then, like, that will definitely help your
Yeah.
brand if, people like you.
definitely. And I just have to accept the fact, I think I've already accepted the fact that doing this and going forward is going to bring a lot of positivity, and it's also going to bring a lot of negativity to
Yeah.
it.
Like,
But I think I have the thick skin to get through it, and also
don't read the
taking
comments. It's
yeah.
just the
I'll
eternal
block
rule.
them. And it's also not just only the person who is selling the story. Obviously, it's all the cameras. You are the actor at the end of the day, but it's obviously the team behind you that is kind of gonna hold you up together.
And do you think the reality show will help with, like, a Miss South Africa push?
Look,
Does that even matter? Like, in Miss
that
South
does
Africa?
not.
Do they not care about your social profile, how big you are before you get into the thing?
I don't think so, but I don't want to look at it that way. I wouldn't want it to be like, a bonus point for me to actually win the pageant.
Well, I was going to say, so you're not looking at this as like a strategy to like go into like Miss South Africa?
Definitely
Okay.
not. I mean, yeah, Miss South Africa has been, for the longest time that I've been doing modeling or have ever watched a Miss South Africa pageant, it's always something that, I wanted to do. I want to be a brand ambassador for
South Africa.
my country. Yeah,
Yeah,
literally.
and that is literally what you are.
A brand ambassador for my country. And like I always said, I just want, being a young woman, I want to empower a lot of young women. And if I don't get to be crowned Miss South Africa one day, then, so be it. I know that I've entered it and I've done it. But through the reality show, I want to
Put yourself forward.
put myself forward and, empower people. Because, I mean, a lot of young women are social media addicts. A lot of them watch a lot of reality TV shows. And I mean, it would be nice to me, aspire to be a Kardashian one day.
Oh, it's
Apparently-
really to be a Kardashian,
I'm
though?
a Kendall Jenner, so I'll be the Kendall Jenner of South Africa.
That sounds horrible. Please don't do that. Like,
Definitely not, but yeah, it's selling my story and putting Jamie Bruine out there.
cool. Well, I mean, this is kind of a little bit of that. So I guess
Yeah.
we got a little preview of what's to come.
Ooh, I hope the producer doesn't listen to this.
Once again, nobody listens to this. You're so chilled. Like, you're gonna get like 10 new Instagram followers from this.
Damn, I need them.
You do.
Yes,
Like, I've seen.
I have a new account.
So what was it
Follow.
like deleting all your social media?
Whew, it was, I think, almost 2 months ago, and I was actually sitting in the studio on a Sunday, and I just felt like I needed to come to the studio Sunday because it's my happy place. And sometimes we all get to the studio and we just sit and just talk about the hottest topic that's just trending, and I was just like, guys, I can't do this. I'm going to delete my social media. And it was so funny because they actually logged onto YouTube. You get the whole drum roll, like the build up.
Yeah. Oh, so they played it.
So once I confirmed all my details to delete, I'm like, okay, I'm about to press the button. And I was like, press play. And they would do that. And I think It probably took me a week
But
to
did-
get over it because
Did you feel like you were giving up, like, you know, something you had built, like a lot of, because like you do build your social media following, like,
definitely, I mean, I had a great following on Facebook. I had a great following on Instagram. Not so much of a great following on Twitter. But also all of that was part of my social media was, you know, again, yes, years of experience and years of building and branding, but that was just all then. But now I feel like I'm at the point where moving forward, I just want to, you know,
and as you're
just
saying,
leave
you're
that-
constantly about moving forward,
just
constantly
leave
about
that
change.
where that is, and literally all that's been left in the past is what people wanted me to be, you know, because I couldn't make my own decisions at the time. So moving forward is Jamie the Brain and what Jamie the Brain wants and what Jamie the Brain is going to get.
Cool. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing everything that you want and everything that you
I'm also
get.
looking forward to it.
Thank you so much for your time, Jamie.
You are welcome, Bob. Perfect.